Welcome back to Well Focus, and the time now it's 20 minutes to the hour 7. And as I promised, on our next story, we are in conversation with the spokesperson of the Department of International Relations and Cooperation, and that is Mr. Chrispin Phiri. Mr. Phiri, welcome to Well Focus here at Lokuhle FM, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, and good evening to our listeners across the platform.
Mr. Phiri, I'm calling you not with so much good news. What's happening between South Africa and the US, or how can you describe the diplomatic relationship between these two countries amid taking into account what happened over the weekend?
My brother, we can say that our relations are currently strained. Declaring our ambassador a persona non grata is something that is not a small thing. However, we remain committed to ensuring that our relationship with the United States, our bilateral relationship, is mutually beneficial and mutually respectful. We will be debriefing our ambassador when he returns. By that I mean he'll have to go and give a report to the president and a report to the minister to explain from his perspective what had transpired. And then from there, we will be able to make a judgment call on what the next step needs to be. But we've also said, and the Minister of International Relations has said, that we accept the decision of the United States government, which they are entitled to do in terms of Article 9 of the Vienna Convention, which provides that for at any point a host country can declare a representative of another country persona non grata. So that is where we are, and we're now going to move forward with the latest development. We are also able to say that this development comes at a very critical point because Ambassador Rasool was actually on the verge of securing a meeting with very strategic individuals in the White House. So that would have really enabled us to ensure that South Africa's perspective gets represented and applied, at least at that level, by the ambassador's counterparts. So unfortunately, this hurdle comes at that point in time where there was some progress, but nonetheless, we will not cry over spilt milk, as the proverb goes. We will move forward with what we have now.
Okay, Mr. Phiri. So as the department that is responsible to connecting South Africa with the entire world, can you say that the diplomatic relationship between South Africa and the US is broken? And if it is broken, what will it take to fix it?
I would say that it is strained, and what it will take to fix it requires us to engage our counterparts and have dialogue. Anything, as you know, even in a relationship, it is fixed by better communication. So that is something that we will continue to pursue.
And is that happening? Because remember, it started with that tweet, not that X that the president of the US sent to say some races in South Africa were not being treated very well by the South African government due to the Expropriation Land Act. And then it follows with various funding being terminated by that government again. And now we have our ambassador to the US being expelled. So, and lastly, we heard that AfriForum as well as Solidarity were there in the White House having some engagements with the Trump administration. But we never heard anything about your department or the presidency having sent delegates, and then that we know that really those engagements are really happening in that level. Are you sending delegates to represent us in the US so that we maintain the relationship that we have with that country?
Maybe let me repeat what I said, is that this development comes at a time when Ambassador Rasool had already secured a very strategic meeting in the White House. So that does tell you that work was being done, important work was being done. Some people claim that they went to the White House. They will not be able to tell you who they met. They're not able to show you any pictures of who they met. So that should tell you a lot. But rather, we are confident that we will be able to reassert our relationship with the United States. The communication is happening. It is not happening the way we would like it to happen, I can say that, and it is not happening in the manner that it should happen. But there is communication between ourselves and the United States, and our diplomatic relations remain in place. As we speak now, both countries have representatives, albeit not at the highest level. You may also know that here in South Africa as well, the charge d'affaires is the second most important person in the embassy here in South Africa of the United States, resigned very suddenly and has left for the United States. So even here, the United States do not have an ambassador, and they also don't have a charge d'affaires. I think the charge d'affaires may have landed today or is expected to land soon. So this really does tell you that the level of relationship at the moment on both sides requires both countries to have the highest level of representation, and also requires us to have more strategic dialogue.
So, but with Mr. Rasool having been expelled, who is representing us there? Who ensures that the communication that we send to the U.S. gets to the relevant people so that we can be able to fast track these negotiations? Because from my point of view now, things are falling apart, and it doesn't seem like, because I'm sure by next week we'll have something else. Now we are dealing